has to have a leader. Our guest here today was the leader of the St. Xavier dynasty, the wrestling dynasty. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
My name is Jim Kraeszig.
And come on, give us a little bit about that St. Xavier wrestling dynasty you led.
Well, I really can't take full credit for it. The man that's responsible is the name Sean Gehring. He and Rob Willman were guys that I coached with. Rob actually came before Sean did, and then Rob got Sean to come to St. X, and that's when we really took off. I mean, Rob got St. X to like a top 5 position in the state, and then when I coached with him, and then when Sean came on, he took us up to the number 1 spot in '98 for the first time in the history of the school, which was it was nice to get a name on that banner. We have banners here at St. X, and they all have a date on them except wrestling, and that was changed back in 1998.
I was going to say we'll talk about St. Xavier's history. We've got, of course, 3 team state championships there for the Tigers, but we'll cover all that in just a little bit later. So, Coach, I have to, for those that don't know your story, maybe the videos brought you to life to them. What was your background in wrestling? Did you just start coaching? Did you wrestle in school? How did it go for you?
I didn't start till my 9th grade year at St. X, and I was not a good basketball player. I was too small for any football or anything, and my dad said right there on the St. X webpage said the sport for the little man, wrestling, perfect for you. He said, you could get your letter, and that's where I started. And I just remember seeing that blank banner and wanting to be a part of, in some way, shape, or form, changing that.
Now, your brother, am I right about that? He was 1990 state champion?
Yes, sir. Greg Kraeszig, yes.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. And while we're early in the video, if you're watching this and you have the 1990 state finals, please reach out. We have the 1990 face-off, but we don't have the complete finals. We have some years. We have Kurt Zinga's match, Pat Martz, Craig Bertelson, Alex Ray, couple other people.
Okay.
From
I'll talk to Greg and see if he has it. I think he's got either a VHS, or I think he might have had it converted to digital.
I was going to say, even if it's VHS, DVD, whatever, I've got a converter. So even if it is, I've converted Zach Steinbach's, I've converted Isaac's, I've converted a couple other of the St. Xavier. No, I don't know if I can say that other private school from Louisville.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'll say I don't know if I can say Trinity on here or not, but.
That's going to be a hell of a match.
Coach, man, you've had, St. Xavier, I should say, he's had some absolute hammers over the years. Tendai Cherisika, 3-time, 94, 95, 96. Of course, Isaac, the Lampy crew, most recently Carter Gilliam, currently playing at University of Louisville, offensive line.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to leave anybody out. You guys know some poor little weak guy named Billy Redmond. I mean, bless his heart. And Zach Steinbach went on, I don't know, just become a Navy SEAL, no big deal there either. But just some absolute hammers, some legendary names of the sport. Will Rabatine was absolute animal as well, played U of L, played arena football. As a coach that's been around the sport for so long, talk to the younger coaches, the newer coaches to the sport, because the sport is growing across the state, and it's great to see. And it's also great to get the information, the wherewithal, what to look for when somebody comes into your room, maybe as an elementary school wrestler, comes in maybe as a junior and says, I want to try this sport. What are you looking for? What are you looking at when somebody comes into that room for the first time?
That's a heck of a question. I think that the thing I would say is it's really, really difficult to determine what kind of success a young man's going to have when he comes into the room. I mean, I've had guys that have zero athletic ability, and they end up being state placers or state runner ups, and you really don't know. That's the great thing about wrestling. It's kind of a stick to itiveness, if that's such a thing. Guys that aren't easily thwarted when they get their head stuffed between their shoulders, and that's fight, right? I mean, that's really what's that's what makes this sport so great. And while our society needs wrestling, it's because we need those guys with fight, and because that's what makes winners.
And that's a great point. And you see, I've been officiating now. This is going in. We're filming this on November the 3rd, 2025. I'm starting my 20th year officiating.
Thank you,
And
by the way. I want to say thank you to you because you have. Every time I watch one of these things, the guys' faces light up. They're so happy to look back on a great time, in their lives, and just to bring this to light for wrestling. What you've done for wrestling is tremendous, and I just think you deserve all the accolades you get.
well, Coach, I appreciate that. I really do. It's been so fun to do it. I mean, it really has. It's kind of brought the fan out in me, doing all this and doing the state championship ring collection, the Letterman jacket collection, finding the video so people can have them, and hearing the stories that people don't know about wrestlers that maybe the only thing they know is they wrestled them once in school, they beat them, or they knocked them out of the regional tournament or state tournament, or they beat their brother, whatever it is, and you get the story aspect of their life of, hey, not everybody's life is sunshine and rainbows. You know what I'm saying? And some of the stories of overcoming stuff, and the one that comes to mind is Thomas Snow, state champion out of Louisville Southern. Thomas said it on his video. Thomas, a week before the regional tournament, tried to commit suicide. I mean, he literally tried to commit suicide, and he comes back and he won a state championship a couple of weeks after that. I mean, that's a story that would be hid from our sport and our state had Thomas not shared that. And I told him every time I see him, I thank him for sharing that, because that is such a great, great story to have for the sport of, hey, yeah, things may be bleak and it may look down, but daggone it, when you've been through a couple of tough wrestling practices, everything else is, as Dan Gable would say, once you've wrestled, everything in life is easy. Now, Dan, he knows a thing or two about wrestling. And he actually, I got to meet him at the Iowa Bellarmine duel last year. That was fun. Get to meet him and kind of converse with him just for a minute. But man, I do appreciate the nice words you said there about the series. It truly has been fun. And what I think it's done is it's bonded the generations of our sport, and it's bonded the geography of our sport. It's not just one year range. It's not just one part of the state or one couple specific schools. It's the entire state of Kentucky, all 120 counties. And when the sport grows, with that comes people wanting to get into sport and wanting to be a part, whether it's with their kids, stepkids, they need a coach at the elementary level, whatever. So for somebody that's been to the top of the mountain a couple times, state champions on top of the podium, who knows how many state placers, to the coaches coming in, what are a few things that you've learned along your journey that you'd like to pass on, that you kind of wish, man, that would have been nice to know when I started this in, whatever year. That way we can educate those coming in.
I think the best advice I could give anybody is surround yourself with people better than yourself. I was so fortunate to be with Sean and Rob, and I spent a lot of time with Jeff Jordan, who I put big accolades for him. Randy Wheeler, I was a big Dan Gable fan. I mean, Isaac Knable. I'm a fan. Yeah. But that's what you really need to do, that's how you build it. I think definitely has to be a culture. you got to have 3 guys in the room for each one of your wrestlers. And that's something that Jordan said. He goes, do you want an army of mediocrity, or do you want a team of assassins? And I was like, I want a team of assassins. And he's like, all right, well, if you only have 22 on your team, then you make them 22 of the toughest son of a guns, and you go out there and do it. And that was, Sean, when Sean was the coach, we had 100 guys in our room. Now, of those 100 guys, 70 of them could wrestle. And out of those 70, we got a pretty good team. He's probably, I'll give him credit, that's the 98 team is the best team we've ever had. We had 11 guys place in the top 6. And that's before they went to place in 8. Yep. And they'll up and down. He just took that. He had a magic about him where he could get in these guys' heads and tell them what they were going to do. And he had a methodical approach to teaching the sport of wrestling. Our guys did not come in with any type of experience, and he took those guys. We had 0. Maybe we had 2 guys who maybe wrestled as 7th and 8th graders, and I don't know if they even started for us. But yeah, Brother Sean Gary, that's what I call him, Brother Sean. He is the man. And Rob Willman too. Can't forget Rob because he did a heck of a job too, and coached football and wrestling. But those 2 guys really brought St. X. From Brother Giles Cromwell, he's the guy that was the brother that brought wrestling to St. X, to those guys, and then on with, we had like I mentioned, Coach Wheeler. I mentioned Coach Jackson. There was a Coach Luker. Oh my gosh, I know I'm leaving somebody out. My brother-in-law, Todd Kessinger, he helped coach. We just kept putting together staffs that were that loved wrestling. And that we're gonna put their passion into these young guys and get them out there, round them up, and let them go.
And right there, a lot to unpack, but a few things that you hit on that I want to bring up here is you talked about culture. And if you're a new program, elementary, a club, middle school, high school, you're trying to do the whole thing, build your program, it truly takes a village. It takes a community to get your program to where you are on a consistent top 6, top 7, or even higher at the high school state tournament, at the middle school state tournament. You may have 1 or 2 kids come through your program that are just natural athletes that can come out and place at tournaments as middle schoolers, but they'll eventually run into somebody that they won't be able to out athlete. They'll have to learn how to wrestle. And when I say it takes a community or it takes a village, we're talking your boosters club, having people buying in, whether it's moms, grandmas, sisters, stepmoms, whoever, working football games, festivals, trying to fundraise. Teen moms or teen sisters providing snacks or making sure everybody's got their own, water. Believe me, that's a big, people don't realize the little things like that matter. Getting shirts made for tournaments, having the posters made up for the state tournament. Just little things, make sure everybody's got clean singlets. That goes a long way too. I mean, it truly does. And that is how, like, I can always tell, okay, this school is going to do good. This school is going to make it because they've got people doing the little things. And the coach can't always do everything. That's just the fact of life. I mean, you're not always going to be able, coaches, to micromanage every single little bit of your program. Now, you need to have some, I don't like the way this is going, whatever, but you're going to forget bringing a case of water to a meet. You're just going to do it. And if you can have some, doesn't have to be women, it could be some guys or
dads,
people involved
moms,
in
dads,
your program. Just, hey, who's got the water? Who's got the bananas? Who's got the oranges or the Snicker bars or whatever it is? Little things like that matter. And if somebody is helping your program, let them know, I appreciate what you're doing for us.
I know something Robert Irvin does at Union County that we did, and he and I talked about it before. We were like, we got to put this in our programs. And I would highly recommend this because if you can convince your parents that wrestling is the best thing since buttered bread, they will work so hard for you. And we had great parents here at St. X, and we had moms, and I mean, I know I'll leave somebody out, but I love the moms, love the dads, love the families. Now we had our families sit behind us. But we told our guys, we don't want you can go up to mom and dad, give them a big hug and kiss when you come down and sit with your team. But don't go up there and sit with mom and dad. You go over and give them a hug, give them a high five and come back down and sit with your team. But the family sat behind us. And then the thing what we did, and that they did it, we did it. Robert does this at Union. I think he still does it. We have a dad's night where the dads come and they give the singlet to their son. And it's a chance for what we do is we have the sons write a letter to their dad saying how much they means to him, how much how much the son, loves the dad, stuff that, kind of, really personal stuff, but it just, the dads love it. And then that same year, the boy, let me see. So we have the sons, let's say the first year we have, what did I just say? The students, the dads write a letter to their son. Okay. Then later in the year, not too long later, the sons write a letter to their moms, telling mom how much they love her. We bring mom up on stage, she sits in a chair. It's like a throne of importance. And they, in front of all their wrestlers, tell them how much they love their mom. Why, thank you, mom. She cleans my socks, and she makes me food, and I love her so much. And the moms love it. And then the next year you flip it, right? The next year, the moms, get to say something nice about their son in front of everybody, and the dads, get to hear their son say that they love them and why. And I mean, we started doing that, and I mean, we want to win, right? But even if we didn't win, the moms and dads were like, "This is the best thing ever," because it cost how much money? Zero. Just a little bit of time at night, about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. To have every athlete, they're decked out in their the nice dress. We had our guys wear ties. You can do whatever you want as your coach. It depends on what you want. But the moms and dads loved it, and of course we take care of their sons. And wrestling's brutal. I mean, all those moms are up there saving rosaries and please don't hurt my baby, and they hate to see them get get ripped and put to their back, and then the double chicken wing. That's hard on moms, but. All the moms kind of bind together and they all commiserate and say how much they love the sport, and then they hate it all at the same time. We listened to them because we think we had wrestling season starts now, and we had a thing where we had Thanksgiving dinner before Thanksgiving, but with the team. And this way the guys can eat whatever they want, right? I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, you get everybody's different. Put a guy, the guys need to go where they have the most energy, and you got to convince the athletes of that. Mm-hmm. But that's the one black eye our sport needs to avoid is worried about cutting weight.
Yep, 100% agree.
We go a long way. We have a lot of rules put in place, to prevent our guys from getting in trouble, and all we got to do is follow it, and convince the wrestlers. And just because you feel good now, you drop 20 pounds, you're not going to have the same pop. And I need you to have energy, and not just, and energy and strength it goes away when you suck yourself down and weight. Seen it happen. And then, long seasons, they may not happen early. Like I think a lot of these wrestlers in college are, I mentioned the Buzakis guy from Ohio State's going 25, and we'll see. He's a big, thick kid. I bet he's strong early, but I bet he's not strong late, and that's when it matters, right? Late. So anyway.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Coach. That's great information to have, and just know that if you're starting a team, starting a club, whatever, that it's going to be a slow build. It's going to be a slow burn, even if you have the best facilities, the best sponsorship, whatever. I mean, the way that the sport in Kentucky is growing, if you got youngsters coming in, I mean, they're going to run up against some hammers. Just let them know, hey, this is part of it. You're going to take an L, and just understand that it's a slow build.
I can hear Coach Knable behind me, right? Right now in my ear going, tell them they got to have a great little kids program. And that is a secret. We were lucky enough to have Efren Carino, and he did a great job with River City and built River City into where we all of a sudden we got 8, 9 guys rolling in every year with experience. These guys are they're eighth graders going to be freshmen, but they're coming in with the same experience level as a junior or senior, and that's tough. I mean, that's nice, right? Every once in a while you get a guy that moves in or somebody that shows interest, and but for the most part, you got to develop your own guys, and it takes time. You're going to have guys leave and go to their dad had to change jobs, and he's going to go to Colorado now. So some team in Colorado is going to benefit from his skills, but that's all right. It's good. You just say a prayer and ask God to give you the best you got, and stay at it. Stay at it. What do you want your athletes to do? Keep working hard, coaches. If you really want to be good, keep working hard, and it'll happen.
And speaking of working hard, what year did you take over the reins as the head coach of St. Xavier?
I think it was 1999. Let me think. Because I think Rob Willman had been head coach, then Sean became head coach, and Sean left after 98. And I didn't want just anybody coming in, and I felt like I told the AD, I said, I know this program better than anybody else, and I don't want anybody new coming in. And I want to do it. I want to keep things going because, Sean got the ball rolling. Sean Gehring did a heck of a job. And all I did was just employ everything that he taught me. And I just, to this day, I tell him, stuff I hear words him, he would say, he'd sit down and go, Jimmy, who's going to place? And he said, I don't know who can place. I want to know who will place. And I was like, I got it. All right, well, we're going to get this guy. We're going to elevate him. And he's right on the cusp. And it just a lot of times as coaches too, your athletes, they got all kinds of doubts in their head. And I just, it's always been that way. Social media probably doesn't help any with that, with pressure and, little guys. And we told our guys, I told my guys, stay off social media. Social media is for girlfriends and cheerleaders and moms. It isn't for you. And you want to be the assassin. You want to sneak up and knock that guy off. You don't want to tell him you're coming, Let's just lay low in the bushes and we'll get them. So, but anyway, you got to believe in your athletes before they believe in themselves. And I'm not saying Isaac Knable, he's special. Tendai, he knew, he was special. These guys, but a lot of these guys, they run into walls, and they're gonna get their head stuffed, and they're gonna start questioning. Oh my gosh, all this hard work, is it really worth it? And I don't know if I'm good at this or not. And you gotta step in there right away and just tell them, and that's another neat thing. Coaches during the matches and even after the matches, I made an effort to go up to talk to every parent and tell them something good about their son. Look, I'm so proud of what he did here today, man. He did great. I didn't never give up. He didn't get pinned, bridged out of bounds, man. You make sure you give him a treat for that. Go get him a milkshake or something. But that moms and dads love it. They just want to hear one good thing about their son. Just tell me one good thing, and they see how much we love them. They see us put our arms around them, and we kick them in the tail when they deserve it, but we also pat them on the back when they deserve it. And it's just like a plant, right? Plants don't grow with all sunshine, and they don't grow with all rain. You got to have a happy medium with both. But be fair to them. That's something the brothers at St. X. That's something they said, they always said we rule these young men with an iron fist, but we wear a velvet glove. And that was a nice way of saying we're stern. We set the standards. We tell them what we want them to do. If they follow through with it, we pat them on the back. If they don't, we kick them in the hind end. But that's the iron fist. The velvet glove part is we're fair, always fair. And so, that I think is a good. Just be fair to your athletes. They want to please you. It's just hard. It's difficult, but you got to. That's where you got to dig down deep and just, I wish I could grab it inside of them and pull it out and say, come on, you can do this. We're going to win this match. Daggone it. And that was something Sean was really good at. And I kind of got good at it, where I would just tell him, here's what's going to happen. You're going to take him down and you're going to turn him. We're winning this match. And that happened, I would bet 80% of the time. If you tell them, if they really believe you, they go out and turn around that sudden victory and they take it. And that's exciting. So that's the fun thing about coaching. That's what's fun about coaching, So it's difficult to do. My gosh, they got to trust you, and you got to believe in them, and they got to believe it. Does he really think that, or is he just saying that? And when you pour your heart and soul into it, they know. And I think that's guys. Some people are called to coach, and I feel that I really I'm going to give them props right now. I never said this before. I've said it to my coaches, but if there was one other team that I would coach in the state of Kentucky, and it's the only one, but it'd be Union County. Union's I like what they do. I like Jarvis.
Yeah.
Coach the Urbans. They were nothing but nice to me. And I think they do something special down there. I do. I know Coach Black, he's at the reins now and part of it at least. And anyway, they got a heck of a staff, and they're guys believe in themselves, and you just don't elevate them like that. I know all of them weren't that way. I watched, I remember the little kid, when he was seventh grade, and he was very average seventh grader. He had a little country to him, and he was tough and strong. But man, look at him. He's in college now, and he's tenacious. He always was. So, but they put that in him, and I'm sure mom and dad had a lot to do with that too. So can't give it all the coaches, but when you got mom and dad believing that wrestling's awesome, and you got the coaches that are pumping these guys full of good, it's the truth. They know if you're just blowing smoke. So you can't just go out and go, you're great, because that's like giving them all sun. But you say, hey, you know what? If you follow through with your mom and dad tell you to do, and you say your prayers at night, and you follow through with what we're telling you to do, you're going to be dangerous. And that's what we want to be. We want to be dangerous. And that gets them, boy, all of a sudden, every young man, they want to do something special. They want to beat people they're not supposed to beat. And that's when you're really doing something. When you get your athletes beating people they're not supposed to beat, that's when you're going to win a title. And Jeff Jordan's another guy. He told me this. This is another thing you got me rolling on this coaching stuff. But Jeff Jordan said, Coach, whatever you do, don't back off. He said, everybody wants to be worried about guys getting sick and not going hard. He said, this is what you do every day of practice. Now, you get after it. He said, your time in practice should shrink, right? So as we taper toward the end of the season, and your practices may not need to be more than 45 minutes long. Get in there, warm them up. Let's go. Bam, get them hot, get them home. Get them home where they can get some sleep, because that's what's going to keep them healthy. But don't back off on this. Don't back off on that. And that's what Jeff always said. And I just admired him because I followed it to a T. And man, I tell you what, day before the state tournament, I'm like, please don't get hurt. We're so ready to go, and we're going to win this dang thing. And everybody's had, we've had our bumps and bruises along the way. And, we're blessed, but those wrestlers, they do the work. And God bless them. I loved all my guys. I do. But it's special. It's hard. The difference between seventh and fifth, that's a big jump. The difference between fifth and third, that's a big jump. The difference between first and second, that's a big jump. I mean, you just don't climb the ladder. It's the same each way. It gets more and more difficult the closer you get to that top. And to overcome a team like Union County, that takes a lot. You got to outwork them. You can't be afraid of them because the color of the singlet. You got to go outwork them. And I know they're the kings right now. I know they are. And if I wasn't involved with my grandchildren, I'd be hunting them down. But I do. I have things. Some things are more important than hunting down Union County and win another state title.
And I'm glad you ended it right there because you talked about the 98 team. Of course, 98, St. Xavier won the team title. One of the very few teams that won the state title without an individual state champion. And one of the second team in state history to win the state championship for the team without anybody in the state finals, period. So that shows you just how, like you said, 11 placers, absolutely loaded top. And before that, in 97, you had Dave Cobbfleisch, state champion. So he's on the channel. So if you took over in 99, of course, 99, you had Isaac. 2000, you had Isaac, Billy, and Will. 2001, you had Isaac and Zach Steinbach. 02, you had Isaac. Then I believe, did you have the Lampy crew, John, Justin, and Dominic?
Yes, sir, I did. But they came a little bit later. And all those guys won, right? Those were all the champs. Mm-hmm. But the guys that really win the tournament are the guys in the wrestlebacks that wrestle back and get third, fourth, fifth, seventh. Those are the guys that win the title. It's not hard to get motivated when you're in the finals or you're in the semis and you're in the winner's bracket. But when you get your dream taken from you, and now you got what else do I have to fight for? Well, you gotta go. We want to win this team title, so we need you, and that's 2 and out. I mean, a dead man can go 2 and out. So any people don't wrestle go 2 and out, but you can't do that. And that was something Sean always did too. He 2 and out was like you do not ever want that to happen ever. And so he built it up. He built that, and I just helped encourage it. And I was very fortunate. Had a lot of great guys around me, and they were better than I was. So we just enjoyed ourselves and had really good young men. That's good mamas and papas. That's what wins. That didn't come from me. That's Bear Bryant. Bear.
Absolutely. And of course, 98 team state champions, 2001 team state champions, 2013 team state champions. So as of this filming, 3 team state titles at St. Xavier. Of course, St. Xavier has one of the best athletic programs, top to bottom, in every sport across the state: football, baseball. God only knows how many swimming state championships they've won. Tennis, golf,
soccer just won another state title.
Yeah, I mean, just all up and down. But Coach, the one that I've heard the story, and I want your version, is I'm going to bring it up. The 2000 state tournament. I've heard a lot of your wrestlers say that you couldn't even look at a 25-mile-an-hour speed speed sign there on the road, because you guys come up 2.5 team points short against Union County, or Woodford County. I'm sorry,
Woodford.
2000. Oh, yeah. And so give us your version, because we've got several of your wrestlers' versions. So tell us your version of what you'd say to them about hating to see that 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign.
We fell short by 2.5 points to Woodford County, and I would tell the guys every time I'm mowing the lawn and I got a drip of sweat on my nose and it's itching me, I'm not going to knock it off, because who's responsible for my pain and suffering? Woodford County. And I mean, everything was, we're going to get them in, we're going back, and we're going to take them out. And it was just like anything that was bad. If the food didn't taste good, whose fault was it? Woodford County. I mean, it was everybody. I made little subliminal messages. I put the guy in green and gold on our freestyle shirts, throwing a guy in black and yellow. And hey, that ain't by mistake. We're trying to put subliminal messages. And I said, you know how much it's bothering me? I'm driving down the road and I look over on the side. I'm seeing a 25-mile-an-hour sign, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh my gosh, that's 2.5. That's what I see every time I see a 25-mile-an-hour sign, because that screw that's right between the 2 and the 5. And I mentioned it to one of the coaches, and I just said it one time in a team. Man, our guys, they just all of a sudden it was just like, oh my gosh. And so everything was about eliminating that 2.5. And the next year, we exploded. And I mean, we went in there and it was so much fun, to see, all that hard, because my guys went right back to work, and that's it. The very next day, bam, we got it. That title's done. We missed it by 2.5 points, very, very small amount, and but we're not going to let this happen again. And it just put a hunger in us. And anyway, that was. I got a big kick out of listening to Zach and those guys recall. And then they went and pulled a bunch of 25-mile-an-hour signs and hung it up over our scale. And one of the football coaches goes, Coach Kraeszig, that's a felony. And I'm like, oh crud. So I got in there and I'm like, okay, look, put these all back. And I love you guys. I love you. I feel your pain. I know it, but I said, I don't want anybody going to jail. Yeah. So put these things back. And sure enough, man, they slowly start to disappear. And I think I talked to each one of the guys that brought it in and say, okay, take this back and put it back on there, screw it in tight, and let's not get us, Sanex any black eyes over this. And but
I believe the statute of limitations have expired on that, Coach, and I'm sure there's probably a few good St. Xavier lawyers that would take up that mantle if it was ever called upon. Remember that time we were freshmen, we stole that 25-mile-an-hour sign? There might be some legal ramifications coming to me. That's a great story, though, Coach. I mean, it truly is, and I'm glad that it resonated with so many of your wrestlers over the years, and how you ingrained that in them. And Isaac, I don't remember which video it was in, but we done there at his house, his 4, and he said that he would give up his individual state championships for 4 team titles. And I'm kind of like, really? You're like, that's all our coaches preached was team, 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 team title, team title. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess if that's what was important to you, you really can't trade them. But I could see that if that was what you were kind of coached and led to believe that's what was you were doing this for was your team, then I guess that's the ultimate goal.
I always pointed it up on the wall and said, see those guys up there? Each one of them won a title. But I said, that's just one. I said, see those over there? And that was the team titles over there. I said, when the tide rises, all the boats float. And I said, every one of those guys on that team, from the manager that puts the water in the bottle, and the guy that just shows up and wants to show his dad he's tough enough to handle a sport like wrestling, all the way through the guys that don't start to the guys that do start. And every one of them is a champion when we win a team state title. And I mean, that's what I get chills from. I mean, that's why 98 was perfect. Nobody won an individual title. We all sat up there and enjoyed the finals and knew nobody's going to catch us because we had distanced ourselves so much. And that's Sean. I'm telling you, it's the best team we've ever had, is 98 team. I wrestle in my head. I'll talk to the guys and we'll hold court and I'll say, oh man, all right, we have this match. I would wrestle the matches off and tell them what I think the scores would probably be. And that 98 team wins every time.
Wow. That's pretty good, man. That's I see, who was it? We've had several individual state champions from 98 on. I think we've got all but 2 of the 98 individuals, and just about every single one of them that was in contention, that was on a team that was in contention, they had somehow mentioned about they knew that the team title was kind of already decided before the finals, or we knew that, man, there was no catching St. Xavier that year. They were just too far out in front of us, even if we won all of our wrestlebacks. So I guess you guys
Sean
come
Gehring,
in.
man, he round those guys up. They were on a mission because we never won. We had never won. And I remember, there was talk of pressure. I think we had some of our team was interviewed by WHAS or something like that. They came in and say, no, first ever, and Coach Gehring always said, you don't overlook anybody. He said, the moment you, he goes, what's your record? 0-0. That's what it is going into this tournament. It doesn't matter if your record is 36-0. It doesn't matter a lick, because that first guy, that first match, if you're not ready for him, he can catch you. And he says, so we respect everybody, but you know what? We don't fear anybody. And we're going to go get them. And so he had those guys, man, SW and AD and Ben Johnson. And I mean, I'm just going Dory and he had those guys so wound up. I remember we had a guy that going for 3rd place, and we had the place, the whole half of that. I loved it at the Civic Center because we actually had a horseshoe of people there, all showed up, ready to see St. X win their first state title. And I went over to him and I said, hey man, you ready? And he goes, Coach, I've been waiting for this for my whole life. And I just got chills. He smacked my hand so hard and went out there. I think it was Lucky Louis Hansel. That's what we call him. He's a lawyer now in California. But I think he's a lawyer that does something in California. But he won that match. And I mean, when he told me that, I was like, holy mackerel. I mean, Sean had these guys, and this was it. They were going to do it. And they weren't going to let it. Nobody was going to, there's no way they were going to let each other down. No way. And that's just awesome. I know coaches are nostalgic, and titles are, I mean, they're few and far between, I mean, it irks me because, we lost, we came in second a lot. And those hurt, and there were some that I know if we'd have had a break here, a guy not get hurt here, we probably win a title. So they're special when they come by. I love all my guys. I love my teams, just ones that came in second just as much as others. And they fought and probably fought hard enough to win sometimes. Just didn't come out. It just didn't come out our way that way. But anyway.
Yeah, no, Coach, that's an excellent memory there of that. And let's see, it was been at GRC when they had the state championships. There were in GRC in Clark County or Winchester. The 98 team got recognized for their 25th anniversary. It was nice to see some of those guys. Billy Redmond was there. Got to see Bill because we'd already done his video, but got to see him. A couple other guys that he introduced me to. So it was good to get to see that. And you're right. State championships, individual state championships are truly few and far between. And if your community gets somebody that's an individual or your school wins a team state championship, no matter what sport it is or what activity, football, basketball, baseball, track and field, you should celebrate that team, that individual for their accomplishments. They need to have their own banner. The school needs to give them a ring, the whole shebang. Because this is what matters. That was my mantra last year for the state championship hype video that I put out. You don't get banners put up in your gym for winning just some random weekend tournament. You get a banner when you win a state championship. This is what matters. And so many people love that. And speaking of state championships, with the coaching perspectives video, I always ask, coaches, do you have a state finals video that you sticks out or whatever? And we're going to watch Isaac Knable's first state championship as a freshman, 1999, 112 pounds. He's wrestling another great wrestler from Covington, Scott, named Jason Davio. Davio would go on to be a two-time state champion, 2000, 2001. And unfortunately, Jason Davio was in just a absolutely horrific vehicle accident, and being the tough wrestler that he was, he lived a lot longer and prospered a lot longer than most people gave him, I guess, credit or thought he would make it. And his body just unfortunately just couldn't keep up with the injuries that he had, and he passed away on us several years ago now. But Davio, we done his memorial video with Nick Spatola. Jason holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts for the way he was, in a wheelchair, couldn't hardly move, but he was still out there at some of the Spatola events trying to help kids, coach kids. Hey, try it this way. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's held in such high regard even after his passing, is he was still wanting to give back. He didn't have much to give, but he was willing to give it. So you got two multiple-time state champions getting ready to wrestle. Of course, we don't know that at the time. Isaac's a freshman. Davio is, I believe, a sophomore. This would be your first time having somebody in the finals when
Can I give you a little prep here? Miss Knable, Isaac's mom, she always said, don't ever let the paper just interview Isaac. She said, if they want to interview the team and he's a part of that, that's fine. But I never want him to get interviewed, just him. She said, because it's bad luck. And I mean, she was adamant about it. So I didn't let any of my guys get interviewed individually. I always wanted to, have a team aspect to it. And by the time she just wanted it. I thought it was awesome. And one of the things I always want to say is kind of say before he was watching win the state title, but his eighth grade, between his eighth grade year and his freshman year, he went to the Bluegrass State games. And he lost to a sophomore and a junior from Henry Clay, and he was tore up. I mean, he comes into Kentucky, he wants to mop up these guys. He's a multi-time middle school state champ coming out of Floyd Central, their program. And he loses these two guys, and man, he was so mad. And I just told him right there, and he tells me to this day, I go, your goal is to be top two. I say, because our top two teams wrestle varsity matches the whole year. Our JVs wrestle varsity, our varsity wrestles varsity. So you just be those top two, man. He said, he told me later, he's like, man, when you said that, he goes, I was like, dang, I'm not gonna be second string. I'm winning. I'm gonna be your starter. And but he was so upset he lost those guys. And we're gonna see. He likes to take shots just to make contact. And then once he got his hands on you, and he worked concrete with his dad since he was 8 years old, and just tough. I mean, his mom, she was a tough lady, man. She was hard on him. And anyway, go ahead.
When we done Isaac's videos there at his house, I don't remember what year it was, but he tells a story about he was like probably a junior, senior, and he was out one evening running after practice trying to cut weight, and it was snow on the ground or whatever, and he had like fell or passed out or whatever in a snowbank. His mom, I guess, stops, sees him, was like, I forget exactly what she said to him. Was like, well, finish your
She
run,
said,
and comes
she
home.
said if you're going to lay down, at least have the decency to get all the way to grass. And then she puts it in drive and goes taking off. I mean, most moms would be, worried about their son. And he had been sprinting. He had this thing. This is something that wrestlers can do. He would run, and at the end of his run, he would see a mailbox, and he'd say, "Overtime. I got to sprint to that mailbox." And as soon as he passed that mailbox, he'd see the next one. And these houses aren't close together. They're way far. They're like 100 yards far apart. So he'd sprint to the next one. And he'd keep doing this until he'd pass out. Just drop from exhaustion. Let's say not pass out. That sounds bad. But drop from exhaustion. So he had dropped from exhaustion. He's over here in his off the side of half of the road, and his mom and sister come driving by, and they whip open the door and go, "If you're going to lay down, at least get all the way to the grass." And then they don't even give him a ride home. They just take off. And she was so upset. I don't know what match it was. I think it might have been his sophomore year, but she slammed her hand down on that. There was a railing that came out of the concrete and broke her wrist because she was upset about that Isaac didn't get a takedown in one of the finals matches. And I think one time when he won, she went on the floor and the MPs were trying to hold her back. And Miss Knable found her son. Let's just say that. Those MPs weren't going to stop her. But anyway.
I believe that. So, Coach, let's pull it up here. Go back to the dungeon.
I'm enjoying this too much right now.
This is a blast. And that for the people that have come into the sport after we moved the state championships to the horse park truly is a better venue outside the dirt and all that. More mats, more seating, more parking. But the dungeon for the finals was just out of this world. I mean, it was special. It was such a great finality to the season. It was, you knew whenever those lights started coming down and the music started and all that, you knew this was special. This was important. This is what you worked for. And it was great to get to be a part of that, and just everybody involved. The idea behind that was so, so great. It felt bigger than just a state championship. This could have been an Olympics level event, or like a big time Las Vegas in the 80s Mike Tyson level boxing type of an event, just the way that it was done. And it's so kind of lives in lore because it disappeared before the sport really got big. And we're doing a few things at the horse park, the pyro, the steam cannons, all that stuff, and it's great. But it's going to be hard to replicate the dungeon. Don't you agree?
I agree. Where it's dark there around the mat, people are right there. I mean, everybody went from mat side all the way built up around it, and it was, we don't. It's I think we're a little dwarfed in the horse park. Been out there in that center mat. I can't hardly even. I mean, I can't hear the crowd hardly. I mean, I can talk to the official, but in the Civic Center, it was roaring. And, it was cool. I mean, it's not the horse park's fault. I understand, why they do it, why they shifted it over there, and it's not. I'm not bashing those guys. Just the Dungeon Civic Center was a special spot, and it was perfect for the venue. I think Sean Gehring had something with us being there too. I think he had a role in that. So I'm telling you, brother Sean did everything.
Yeah, and before we start, I can say I've got to officiate the 2020 state finals there, the 2024 girls, and then the 2025 boys state finals there at the horse park. And it may be loud up in the arena, but when you're on the floor, you can't hardly hear. I mean, you're just so far away from everybody. The noise really doesn't reach you.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's just what they had there, and that's just the way things are. So this is neat. This brings back a lot of memories. That orange mat and right in the middle.
Yep. And for those wondering, Isaac is going to be in that St. Xavier green, that dark green, and the gold stripe, and Jason, of course, is going to be in the blue and white. So, Coach, let's go.
All right.
All right, so when you got somebody in the state finals, Coach, I don't want to say what's your message to them, but what are you telling them beforehand? What are you giving them, any super secret advice, or just saying, hey, let's do what got us here? Let's not change anything up. What's the mentality for somebody coming into the state finals?
If I remember this correctly, Isaac had upset the #1 seed in the semis.
Yes, Anthony Smith. That's right.
Yes. And as soon as he did, he grabbed his water bottle and he walked right over to this match where Davio was wrestling his guy and just watching him, because like he didn't even take the time to enjoy the win. He's already focused on that. Main thing, Isaac had a wicked cradle, and he still does. And right now he's taking these shots from the open. He doesn't want to get too close, but at the same time, nice front headlock. But he had a heck of a once he makes contact, see how he keeps working in? That was his thing. He'd shoot a double from the open just to make contact, even if it's a bad shot, and then he would just reel them in. And I know he looked skinny there, but he was pretty dang strong. And I was a little worried because Davio was tough. But there we go. Terrible shot. Look at that. He's just trying to if he gets to a leg, he's going to take him down. So anyway.
I was getting a bigger kick out of watching Isaac watch his matches when we done his review videos than I was watching the actual match, because he would laugh, oh my God, look at that bad shot, or oh my God, this is terrible. And it's like,
he was a great leader. Even as a freshman and sophomore, he was a great leader for us. I mean, he never. If he lost a match one time at Modern Day and got caught on his knees and headlocked, and I was like, oh my gosh, please don't. And he was winning, and I thought if he comes off the mat and says I shouldn't have taken the shot, everybody on this team is going to stop attacking. Instead, he goes, I just shouldn't have stopped on my knees. Oh, look at that, nice Kelly roll. Yep. Yeah, that was good. It was good.
Yep.
His hands were so heavy, even as a young little guy. He's got that spiral and a half there. He's got to get that knee in front. There we go, hip, hip, hip. Anyway, Davio's elusive.
Yeah, and that's something too about, especially back in the 80s, the 90s, even up through the mid 2000s, and you can see different parts of the state had different types of wrestling. They just did. Your Northern Kentucky was more of a bar, a tilt, wing type of a wrestling, more top. They were much better on top than just about everybody else. Your Louisville area, your Woodford, Lexington, they were like really good neutral wrestlers, had a lot of pins. Your Southern Kentucky, your Eastern Kentucky, they were more trying to like muscle people, trips, throws, that kind of stuff. And it's really interesting to see there's Davio going there for some type of like you can call it a wing or like a bow and arrow there.
I was worried here. I was really worried because Isaac never gets called for stalling, and I was like, gosh, he's got to really realize he's got to get off his belly. And so there we go. He just got to get to his feet. Once he gets to his feet, I'd feel a lot better. But I thought Davio was going to turn him there.
Yeah.
He had a real. He's special wrestler, 4-time, never lost a match in Kentucky. Beat a couple Indiana State champs on his way to going through the ice. He's in good. Get lower, Isaac. Come on. Oh yeah, here we go. Come on, baby. Oh, what the heck is that? That's awful.
I was going to say, Coach, did you teach him that move?
That was awful. He tried to do a neck whip, and I guess look at that. Yeah, we were lucky because I don't know if that could be considered two or not, or an escape or not there. Yeah. Got away with something. I think Davio tries a headlock in this match. I don't know. It's all blurry after so long. But if he does, I could be, see, there he goes, taking him down. It's later in the match. But maybe I'm wrong. I might be thinking of his sophomore year. There we go.
Now, Isaac has a really good match against the Jordan Blackmore kid from Rowell in 2000.
It was. That's who it was. Blackmore headlocked him, and Isaac rolled through, and he said, I've never had anybody roll through on my headlock. And I mean, Isaac was exceptionally good wrestler and a really, really strong. All those lifting all those concrete blocks with his dad when he was growing up. He did a lot of concrete work. Now we're on top, getting back inside. Oh, all right. But
Now,
look at him. He's good.
Are you over in the corner to our left? We can see standing up just a second ago. Or are you over here to our right?
I think I'm on the left. I don't know. I saw Isaac look to the left, but he might have been looking to see what their coaches are doing. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I'll look again. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. It might be us. I don't know. Yeah, that's me. I'm on my knees a lot there on the side, trying to get past that line that they put over there. But,
sit down, coach.
Yep. Hey, let me tell you something to tell young coaches. Don't talk to the officials. I mean, you can talk to them. You talk to them like, just like you just, respect them. Don't yelling and screaming. I don't even know if that plays a role anywhere. I know a lot of people like to play the officials or they think they have to, but focus on your wrestlers. If you're busy screaming at the official, then all your wrestlers thinking is about the official. And that's not where their thoughts should be. Their thoughts should be on scoring points and winning. And, we can't control the officials. There's going to be calls that go against us. So what are you going to do? So we tell them what they're going to do. Hey, you're going to buck up and you're going to get the job done. You're going to take him down.
Oh, he got taken down there. What are you doing, Isaac?
That was nice. Best thing to do here is get back to your feet and take him down again. Let's see if he does it. He looks pretty strong. Davio looks pretty gassed.
Yeah.
Yep. Look at Isaac. He's ready to go. Get in closer, for God's sakes. Come on, man. Guy's fakes, but he's a mile away.
Do you remember if these two wrestled earlier in that season?
We had not seen. I don't think we had seen Davio the whole year, which was was nerve-wracking. But we did we wrestled a lot of Indiana, a lot out of state. And not trying to dodge people. I know a lot of people said that at the time, but that wasn't the reason. We just wanted to get our guys, the best competition we could. And the Davios are great, but we couldn't see him every weekend. Come on.
Yeah.
Isaac said,
that's a good philosophy. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, you have to get your studs beat. I mean, you have to. If you want them to be good, you got to find matches where they're going to lose. And Isaac had his share of losses. I think the kid from Jeff was a senior, and he beat him that year. Come on, what are you doing? There we go. Oh, that's lucky. Let's see, Davio was hunting for that spladle. Come on, Isaac. I'm not sure what the score is here.
I believe Isaac ends up winning. I think 11-4, if memory serves correct.
Gosh, okay.
Isaac wins it pretty big.
There we go. Finally got those legs. And then now, there we go. Look at that. Attaboy. Look at that. Screwing him down. Good job.
Gets to Davio rolls through. Gets called for potentially dangerous, so we get the 2 takedown, and then looks like 2 near falls. So there's a 4-point move. Yeah, I thought his poise on the mat. I mean, it's a freshman. And I just thought he always looked so poised. He never got shook. Even if he's down big, he never got shook. It was like, I'm gonna peck away at this. Now he's look at him. He's post behind the knee, Isaac, while we post him behind his rear end. He's probably just happy to keep him down on his belly. I tell you what, Isaac Knable, one of the there you go. There it is.
Nice job. I think that's it. So he has the 6 shooters. He got those out.
Yep.
He was a tremendous athlete, just a great leader and he as a coach, it's like magic. I mean, he puts his hands on guys and he just makes them better. And he puts his confidence into them. And my sons, they would testify the same thing. He had a tremendous impact on them and still does. They respect him so much. And anyway, it was an honor. It's an honor to have coached him and an honor to still be coaching with him. And thanks for doing that, man. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody's going to listen to this other than my mom and myself, but
Oh
Maybe
no,
Brother
man!
Sean.
You'd be surprised at the traction that we get from the coaching perspective videos, just for the knowledge and getting to see, the guys that you coached, uh, hear coaches, I guess, talk to the video the same way they would them. And like, I remember him saying that, or I can, he said that to me 1,000 times, and now I say it to my kids, or I say it to the kids that I coach, or whatever. So it's good that, and something about this series that I really didn't see when I got the idea. There's a lot that come from this that I really didn't see, that I've kind of stepped into the memorial videos, the coaching perspective, the officials perspective, all that. But how many guys, and in a few years we're going to be able to say how many girls have come through a program, no matter where it is, with good coaches, and state champion or not, they come through, they wrestled, they learned, whatever, and how they are using what they learned from their coaches, the people that put time in, let them know they care, how they're raising their kids now, or how they're coaching teams that they're a part of. And this worked for me. Coach so and so, or multiple coaches said this, and this is going to be our philosophy. It worked for me. It's going to work for us. We know how to do this. And that's something that I really enjoy, is hearing the guys say, whether their kids want to play another sport, football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever it is coach speak works in just about every sport. I mean, it truly does. The lessons that you learn in the wrestling room, yeah, it's better if you can instill them in a wrestler, but it also translates to just competition in life in general.
Sure.
It really does. And that's something that I love, being able to be out at a meet, be out at the state tournament, see somebody up in the crowd. Hey, man, thanks for doing that video with Coach. We done Coach Parr and Coach Joe Carr and Rusty Parks. We done a video with them, and some of the things they said, some of their older wrestlers were like, "Oh man, Coach Carr would say this 100 times in practice, and I still say it to this day in life." And I'm like, that's good, man. That's the way it should be. And speaking, while I'm saying that, I think, this year coming, the 26th state tournament will be the 25th anniversary of 2001 St. Xavier team celebration there at the state finals. So be looking forward to seeing you there, some of that crew.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Coach, do you have anything to say or add, take away, anything like that to wrap this one up, so we can, put a bow on it?
One more thing. I think I'm going to quote a Coach Glazer here at St. X. He used to always say, we won't know if we did a good job until about 40 years from now, when our athletes are dads, husbands, and Christians. And if they're living good lives, then we did our job. But we'll know down the road then. And then the other thing is, just in the room, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around here, but every wrestler needs to experience success. And there's 3 guys that got to be in the room, right? There's one guy you got to be able to whip. There's one guy that's even with you, and there's one guy that kicks your hind end. And if you got those 3 guys in the room, you're going to get better. So, I know Coach Knable, he's big on, even if you're the best guy in the room, you can still make gains, and that's true. But as a coach, that's what you're kind of hoping for. If you got a guy that's really tough, like Tendai Chirasika, we our coaches, we wrestled him. And the deal was, if Tendai took you down, you had to buy dinner for the other coaches. And so Tendai was tough. He broke my rib. I got it on a double on me. I kicked back, and I'm in my 20s. And he cracked my rib, and I was like, dang, gone it. And but I didn't have to pay for dinner. So he didn't take me down, but he did crack my rib.
I was going to say, I'd say that coaching staff was out a lot of money buying dinners for everybody.
Yeah, well, it was fun. I mean, but we couldn't, we were older. We were grown men too. And Tendai is just a junior and senior in high school, and he was so explosive, and he was just a great leader too, for us. Anyway, it just that's coaches. Put your passion, we're right there in front of your athletes. Don't hide it from them, and we got a lot of great coaches here in this state of Kentucky. So absolutely, they know what they're doing. Go out and do it.
And one thing I want to end this on is, a couple of weeks ago, as of this filming, I got to meet at at a meet and greet, I got to get an autograph, photos, all that with Royce Gracie, the legendary Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, UFC 1, 2, 4
Right.
champion, all that, and got there early. He was doing like just a little fan meet and greet, just shaking hands. Hey, nice to meet you, all this stuff. And there was, he was taking questions, and I kind of put him on the review series, and mentally I was asking him questions about his what he learned from his dad, what he learned from the UFC, what he tries to tell everybody coming in. Mr. Gracie, what do you want to pass on? And he would say that his father, of course, Elio Gracie, I guess the creator, if you will, of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu system, their motto, the reason why they had so many chokes and arm attacks and leg attacks and body attacks and all this was, you never know how you're going to win. And that is so true in wrestling.
Yep, it's true.
You never know how you're going to win. And to the young wrestlers watching this, to the young coaches watching this, kids, it's not a good idea to go out and learn 85,000 moves because you'll just get it all jumbled. But you never know how you're going to win a match. You never know if something that coach showed you the day before, you look up, boom, there's that near side cradle that you just learned. Or there is that Peterson roll that you just learned. Or whatever it is. You never know how you're going to win in the sport of wrestling. So take that advice with you to the mat, and just understand that you never know how you're going to win. Take every win, be proud of it. Don't take a win for granted, because they can be few and far between. Coach, thank you for doing this and giving us your knowledge. I know the St. Xavier crowd's really going to enjoy hearing your voice and hearing your stories and all that. And maybe we can find an old 25-mile-an-hour sign and give it to you this year at the state finals. Have everybody sign it.
We're good. Thank you. Hey,
No,
thank you for doing this.
I'm kidding.
I know. I appreciate it, man. I've enjoyed this tremendously. And again, thank you so much for what you do for the great sport of wrestling here in the state of Kentucky. And it's just I just can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Well, Coach, I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you all for watching. We will see you guys and girls on the mats.